The first morning I arrived at Castle Ravenswood, the sun cast long shadows across the grand facade, almost as if the palace itself was stretching after a restless night. My name is Margaret Hale, and I am the private nurse assigned to Lady Eleanor, a child shrouded in more secrecy than the castle's ancient tapestries. Little did I know, my role here would pull me into a web of mysteries that threatened the very foundation of the aristocracy. As I entered the ornate nursery, the scent of lavender and aged wood greeted me. Lady Eleanor lay in her cradle, her frail form barely stirring. The servants moved with precise, silent efficiency, each step measured and deliberate. I had been hired not just for my skills, but for my discretion, qualities I possessed in abundance, though I couldn't yet foresee their importance. "Good morning, Lady Eleanor," I whispered, approaching the cradle. Her dark eyes met mine, and for a fleeting moment I saw a spark of recognition. Or was it fear? "Morning, Margaret," came the soft, almost ethereal voice of Mistress Agatha, the head governess. Her presence was commanding yet gentle, her eyes always observant. "She's been restless again." I nodded, adjusting the linen sheets around Eleanor. It was during these quiet moments that I first heard the whispers. They started as soft murmurs, barely audible over the crackling of the fireplace. Tonight, however, they had grown louder, echoing through the stone corridors like ghosts from the past. Later that afternoon, as I tended to Eleanor's delicate needs, the child murmured something that sent a chill down my spine. "Father is watching," she whispered, her tiny fingers clutching a worn teddy bear. My heart skipped a beat. Lady Eleanor's father had died under mysterious circumstances 5 years prior, his death officially ruled as natural causes. But the whispers in the hall suggested otherwise. Could this child be hinting at secrets long buried? Curiosity gnawed at me, but I reminded myself of my duty. I couldn't let my suspicions interfere with my responsibilities. Yet as days turned into weeks, Eleanor's cryptic remarks became more frequent. Each mention of an unknown father deepened the mystery, pushing me to uncover the truth behind her fragile existence. One evening, while the castle was cloaked in twilight, I found myself alone in the vast library. Dust motes danced in the fading light as I browsed through old ledgers and forgotten letters. A particular letter, sealed with the Ravenswood crest, caught my eye. It was addressed to Lady Eleanor's late mother, written in an elegant, flowing script. My hands trembled as I broke the seal, the weight of potential secrets pressing down on me. The letter spoke of alliances and promises, hinting at a lineage that extended beyond the known nobility. My mind raced. Could there be a hidden heir within these walls? As I delved deeper into the correspondence, a loose floorboard beneath the desk revealed a hidden compartment. Inside lay a faded photograph of a man I didn't recognize, his features strikingly similar to Eleanor's. A name scrawled at the back: Edward Ravenswood. A surge of adrenaline coursed through me. Edward Ravenswood was a name whispered in hushed tones, believed to be a legitimate heir to the throne, though his existence was denied by the royal court. If Eleanor were connected to him, the implications were staggering. My heart pounded as I realized the potential consequences. Exposing this secret could destabilize the delicate balance of power, not to mention endanger those around me. Yet, the truth was undeniable, and I couldn't ignore the child's innocent yet persistent hints. As I closed the hidden compartment, a shadow loomed at the doorway. Mistress Agatha stood there, her expression unreadable. "Working late, Margaret?" she asked, stepping inside. Her eyes bore into mine, a silent question lingering between us. I met her gaze, searching for any sign of betrayal or concern. Instead, she offered a faint, knowing smile. Some secrets are better left buried, don't you think? Her words hung in the air, thick with meaning. I knew then that I was no longer alone in this quest for the truth. Perhaps, together, we could unravel the mysteries that threatened to unravel us all. What do you think I uncovered next? Stay tuned for the next chapter to follow my journey deeper into the secrets of Castle Ravenswood. Don't miss it. Hit subscribe so you don't miss any part of the story. The days that followed Mistress Agatha's cryptic words were a whirlwind of unease and determination. Each morning I donned my nurse's uniform, feeling the weight of the secrets I now harbored. The castle, with its labyrinthine corridors and silent chambers, seemed to whisper its own tales of intrigue and betrayal. I couldn't shake the feeling that every shadow held a clue, every whisper a warning. One crisp autumn afternoon, as golden leaves danced outside the window, I found myself once again in the library. Mistress Agatha had granted me limited access to the old ledgers, a gesture that both helped and hindered my quest. I carefully examined the faded documents, searching for any mention of Edward Ravenswood. Hours passed, and frustration began to settle in when a small leather-bound journal caught my eye. Its cover was embossed with a delicate floral pattern, almost hidden beneath layers of dust and neglect. With trembling hands, I opened the journal. The pages were filled with elegant handwriting, recounting daily life at Castle Ravenswood many decades ago. Entries spoke of lavish balls, political alliances, and snippets of personal reflections. But one passage stood out, written in a hurried scrawl. The truth about my son must remain hidden. The crown cannot be tainted by questions of legitimacy. If anyone discovers his existence, it will bring ruin to us all. My breath caught in my throat. Could this be evidence of Edward Ravenswood's true identity? The implications were staggering. If Eleanor was indeed the secret heir, her existence would challenge the very foundations of the aristocracy. The thought of such power lying dormant within these walls sent a shiver down my spine. As I delved deeper into the journal, I uncovered references to a hidden sanctuary within the castle, a place where Edward and his family had sought refuge during times of political turmoil. Determined to find this sanctuary, I decided to confide in Mistress Agatha. Perhaps she held more knowledge than she let on. That evening, the grand dining hall was abuzz with preparations for a formal dinner. The clinking of silverware and the soft strains of a string quartet filled the air, creating an atmosphere of opulent normalcy. I approached Mistress Agatha, who stood near the fireplace, her gaze distant as she watched the flickering flames. "Agatha, may I speak with you privately?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She turned to me, her expression unreadable. "Of course, Margaret. What is on your mind?" I hesitated, unsure of how much to reveal. Finally, I placed the journal on the mantelpiece. "I found this in the library. It mentions a hidden sanctuary and someone named Edward Ravenswood. Do you know anything about this?" Mistress Agatha's eyes darkened, a flicker of something. Fear, perhaps, passing through them. She approached the mantel, carefully picking up the journal. Her fingers lingered on the delicate pages before she met my gaze. Edward Ravenswood was a name spoken only in hushed tones within certain circles, she began, her voice tinged with sorrow. He was a legitimate heir, but circumstances forced him into hiding. The sanctuary mentioned was indeed real, a place where he and his family sought refuge from those who wished to see them erased from history. I felt a surge of adrenaline. If Edward is alive, and if Eleanor is connected to him, this could change everything. We need to find the sanctuary. Mistress Agatha sighed, her shoulders slumping. It is not that simple. There are powerful forces at play, Margaret. Searching for the sanctuary could put both of us in great danger. But my resolve was unshakable. I can't ignore the truth, Agatha. Eleanor deserves to know who her father is. She studied me for a long moment, the firelight casting shadows across her face. Finally, she nodded. Very well, but we must proceed with caution. Meet me in the garden at midnight. There I will reveal what I know. As the night descended, the castle transformed under the silvery glow of the moon. I made my way through the deserted corridors, my heart pounding with a mixture of fear and anticipation. The garden, bathed in moonlight, was a serene contrast to the tension brewing within me. Mistress Agatha awaited me near the old fountain, its waters shimmering softly. She motioned for me to sit beside her. The sanctuary is located beneath the eastern wing, concealed by a series of hidden passages known only to a select few. It was built centuries ago to protect the Ravenswood lineage during times of crisis. However, accessing it now is fraught with challenges, as the paths have long been forgotten or sealed. I leaned in, eager to absorb every detail. Do you know where it is exactly? She hesitated before pulling out a small, intricately carved key from her pocket. This key was entrusted to me by Lady Eleanor's mother. It is said to unlock the entrance to the sanctuary, but its mechanism is complex. You must use it wisely. My fingers closed around the cool metal, feeling its weight and significance. Thank you, Agatha. I won't let you down. She placed a reassuring hand on my shoulder. Be careful, Margaret. The truth can be both a beacon and a burden. As I left the garden, the gravity of our mission settled over me like a heavy cloak. The path ahead was uncertain, but the desire to uncover the truth propelled me forward. I knew that the coming days would test my resolve, challenge my beliefs, and force me to confront the very essence of loyalty and integrity. That night, as I lay in my modest quarters, the journal and the key beside me, I couldn't help but reflect on the journey ahead. The castle's silent halls seemed to echo my thoughts, each step a reminder of the secrets that lay hidden within its walls. I closed my eyes, vowing to protect Eleanor and uncover the truth, no matter the cost. Can you imagine the moment I stepped into the hidden passages? Comment below with your thoughts. Stay tuned for the next chapter to follow my perilous journey beneath Castle Ravenswood. Don't miss it. Hit subscribe so you don't miss any part of the story. The moon hung high over Castle Ravenswood the following night, casting an ethereal glow that seemed to illuminate the very secrets hidden within its walls. My mind raced with Mistress Agatha's revelations as I prepared for the midnight rendezvous. Clutching the intricately carved key, I felt both a sense of purpose and an undercurrent of fear. What awaited me in the hidden passages? Would I find the sanctuary, or would the castle's mysteries consume me? As midnight approached, the grand clock in the hallway began its solemn toll, each chime echoing through the silent corridors. I made my way to the garden, the path illuminated by flickering lanterns that cast dancing shadows on the meticulously trimmed hedges. Mistress Agatha was already there, her figure partially concealed by the moonlight. "Are you ready?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. I nodded, my heart pounding in my chest. "I believe so." She handed me a small folded map. "This will guide you to the entrance of the hidden passages. Remember, the castle has changed over the years. What was once familiar may now be obscured by time and neglect." I unfolded the map, tracing the intricate lines that depicted parts of the castle I thought I knew well. The marked path led to the eastern wing, specifically to the old stables, a place I rarely visited. My footsteps were deliberate as I navigated through the maze of corridors, the map serving as my only guide. The stables were silent, the horses long gone, their former home now repurposed for storage. According to the map, the entrance to the hidden passages was behind a false wall. I approached the designated spot, my fingers searching the textured stone, until I found a loose brick. With a gentle push, the wall swung open, revealing a narrow, dimly lit corridor beyond. Taking a deep breath, I stepped into the passage, the air cool and musty. The flickering light from my lantern cast long shadows, making the narrow pathway seem endless. The sound of dripping water echoed softly, each drop a reminder of the castle's age. As I followed the map, my anticipation grew, mingling with an unease I couldn't quite place. After what felt like hours, the corridor opened into a large underground chamber. The sanctuary, just as Mistress Agatha had described, lay before me. Stone pillars rose majestically, supporting a vaulted ceiling adorned with intricate carvings of the Ravenswood crest. In the center stood a grand fireplace, long extinguished, with remnants of ash scattered around. But it was the relics that caught my attention. Ancient artifacts, old books, and faded portraits that seemed to breathe life into the past. Among them was a sturdy wooden chest, its surface worn by time. My hands trembled as I approached, the key feeling heavier with each step. With a deep breath, I inserted the key into the chest's lock. It turned smoothly, the mechanism revealing its hidden contents. Inside, I found letters, a diary, and a locket bearing the Ravenswood insignia. As I sifted through the papers, one letter stood out, a correspondence between Edward Ravenswood and an unnamed confidant, discussing the protection of his lineage and the importance of secrecy. The diary entries painted a vivid picture of Edward's struggles to secure his family's place in the kingdom, detailing alliances and betrayals that had shaped the course of their lives. It became clear that Eleanor's existence was the culmination of these efforts, a symbol of hope amidst turmoil. As I delved deeper into the diary, a sudden noise shattered the silence, a faint but unmistakable sound of footsteps approaching. My heart raced as I quickly hid the key and chest, pressing myself against the cool stone wall. The footsteps grew louder, accompanied by muffled voices. "Are you certain this is the place?" whispered a voice, hushed but urgent. "Yes, according to the map, it's right here," replied another. The voices belonged to two men, their tones betraying a mix of fear and determination. I strained to listen, hoping to glean any useful information without being discovered. The men spoke of recent sightings of suspicious figures within the castle, and the need to secure the sanctuary to prevent the truth from leaking. Their conversation hinted at a larger conspiracy, one that reached higher than I had ever imagined. As they moved deeper into the chamber, one of them accidentally knocked over a candle, sending it crashing to the floor. The flames licked dangerously close to the ancient documents, and panic ensued. The men scrambled to extinguish the fire, their movements frantic and disorganized. Seizing the moment, I remained hidden, my mind racing with questions. Who were these men? What did they know about Edward Ravenswood? And how far were they willing to go to keep the sanctuary and its secrets safe? Once the danger had passed, the men left, their hurried footsteps fading into the distance. I exhaled slowly, the adrenaline coursing through me, making my head spin. I knew I had stumbled upon something much bigger than I had anticipated. The sanctuary was not just a refuge. It was a linchpin in a web of power and deception that spanned the entire kingdom. Determined to uncover the truth, I decided to take the chest and its contents back to my quarters, hoping to study them in the safety of daylight. But as I retraced my steps through the hidden passages, a nagging sense of being watched lingered, making each step feel heavier than the last. Back in my room, I carefully examined the letters and the diary, piecing together the fragments of Edward Ravenswood's life. The locket, delicate and tarnished, seemed to pulse with an unspoken promise. It was a symbol of the legacy that Eleanor unknowingly carried, a legacy that could alter the balance of power if brought to light. As dawn broke, casting a golden hue over the castle, I realized that my life had irrevocably changed. The burden of the truth weighed heavily on me, but so did the responsibility to protect Eleanor and honor the Ravenswood name. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but I was no longer merely a nurse. I was a guardian of secrets that could reshape our world. Can you imagine the moment I discovered the hidden compartment beneath the fireplace? Share your thoughts below. Stay tuned for the next chapter as I navigate the perilous journey of unveiling Castle Ravenswood's deepest secrets. Don't miss it. Hit subscribe so you don't miss any part of the story. The early morning sun filtered through the heavy curtains of my room, casting a warm glow that contrasted sharply with the chill of last night's discoveries. As I sat at my small writing desk, the letters and diary from the hidden chamber lay scattered before me, their contents slowly revealing the intricate tapestry of the Ravenswood legacy. Each word, each sentence, seemed to pull me deeper into a world of secrets and shadows that I was only beginning to understand. Margaret Hale. My name feels almost insignificant in the grand scheme of the castle's history, yet here I am, entwined in a narrative that could alter the very fabric of the aristocracy. My thoughts were interrupted by a soft knock on my door. I looked up to see Lady Eleanor standing there, her frail frame supported by a beautifully embroidered shawl. Her dark eyes, so full of innocence and curiosity, met mine with a silent plea for comfort. "Good morning, Lady Eleanor," I greeted her gently, rising to my feet. "Morning, Margaret," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "Did you sleep well?" I nodded, offering her a reassuring smile. "As well as one can in such a grand place." She glanced around the room, her gaze lingering on the scattered papers. "Is everything all right? You seem troubled." I hesitated, unsure how much to reveal. The burden of the secrets weighed heavily on me, but I couldn't let Lady Eleanor sense my turmoil. "Just some work-related stress, Eleanor. Nothing for you to worry about." She seemed satisfied with my answer and moved to sit beside me, her small hand reaching out to gently touch mine. In that moment, I felt a surge of warmth and connection, a bond that went beyond the professional relationship we shared. Can you imagine the trust Eleanor places in me? Let me know how you think this relationship will evolve in the comments below. As she departed, I was left alone with my thoughts once more. Determined to make sense of the letters, I began piecing together the fragmented stories of Edward Ravenswood, the alliances he formed, the betrayals he endured, and the lengths he went to protect his lineage. All pointed to a man of unwavering loyalty and immense courage. His dedication to safeguarding his family's future was both inspiring and heartbreaking. Hours passed as I delved deeper, the words blurring together until fatigue set in. I decided to take a short walk through the castle's expansive gardens, hoping the fresh air would clear my mind. The meticulously maintained paths were a stark contrast to the tangled web of secrets I was unraveling. The scent of blooming roses, and the gentle rustle of leaves provided a soothing backdrop to my restless thoughts. As I wandered, I encountered one of the secondary characters, James Whitaker, the castle's head gardener. James was a sturdy man in his late 60s, with hands roughened by years of tending to the gardens and a heart softened by years of service. His presence was a source of quiet strength within the palace walls. "Good morning, Margaret," he greeted me warmly, leaning on his pruning shears. "Everything all right?" I managed a tired smile. "Just lost in thought, James. These gardens are a good place to find some peace." He chuckled softly. "They certainly are. If you ever need to talk, you know where to find me." His genuine offer of support touched me deeply. In a place where secrets lurk around every corner, knowing there are people I can trust is invaluable. Do you think James will play a pivotal role in uncovering the castle's secrets? Share your thoughts below. Reinvigorated by our brief interaction, I returned to my room with a renewed sense of purpose. The letters had mentioned a figure known only as the Protector, someone who ensured the safety of the Ravenswood lineage. Could this be Mistress Agatha? Or was there another guardian watching over us? As afternoon gave way to evening, I decided to consult the diary once more, searching for any mention of this mysterious protector. One entry stood out. "The Protector remains vigilant, ensuring that our legacy endures beyond the reach of those who seek to destroy it. His loyalty is unyielding, and his presence a beacon of hope in these dark times." The term Protector resonated with me, hinting at someone who had played a crucial role in Edward's life, and by extension, Eleanor's future. Determined to uncover his identity, I resolved to confront Mistress Agatha directly. If she was indeed the Protector, she would have answers. That night, after ensuring Lady Eleanor was peacefully asleep, I sought out Mistress Agatha in her quarters. The corridor was silent, the only sound the soft ticking of the grand clock. I found her by the window, gazing out at the star-studded sky. "Agatha," I began hesitantly, stepping into the room. She turned to face me, her expression a mixture of surprise and caution. "Yes, Margaret? What is it?" I took a deep breath, feeling the weight of my questions pressing down on me. "The diary mentions a Protector. Can you tell me who he is?" Her eyes softened, and for a moment I saw a flicker of vulnerability. The Protector is a title bestowed upon those who have pledged their lives to safeguarding the Ravenswood lineage. It is a role that demands secrecy and unwavering loyalty. I pressed further, sensing she held the key to unraveling this part of the mystery. "Is that why you've been helping me? Are you the Protector?" She studied me for a long moment before nodding slowly. "Yes, I am. My allegiance to the Ravenswoods runs deep, as it has for generations. When Edward chose to keep his lineage hidden, I vowed to protect his descendants, no matter the cost." A surge of gratitude and relief washed over me. "Thank you for your loyalty, Agatha. I want to ensure that Eleanor is safe and that her heritage is honored." She approached me, placing a reassuring hand on my shoulder. "You are already doing more than enough, Margaret, but we must be cautious. There are those who would go to great lengths to keep our secrets buried." As we spoke, a sense of camaraderie formed between us, a mutual understanding forged in the shadows of Castle Ravenswood. Together we were stronger, united by a common purpose to protect and preserve the truth. What sacrifices do you think Agatha has made to fulfill her role as the Protector? Let me know in the comments. Stay tuned for the next chapter, as our journey takes a dangerous turn. Don't miss it. Hit subscribe so you don't miss any part of the story. The dawn broke gently over Castle Ravenswood, its first light seeping through the heavy drapes of my room. The events of the previous night weighed heavily on my mind, but a newfound sense of purpose steadied my resolve. Mistress Agatha had revealed herself as the protector, a revelation that both comforted and alarmed me. Our shared mission to safeguard Lady Eleanor's true heritage was now a reality, binding us together in ways I had never imagined. As I sat at my desk, carefully reviewing the letters and diary entries once more, a knock echoed through the corridor. Startled, I glanced up to see James Whittaker, the head gardener, standing hesitantly in the doorway. His weathered face bore a look of concern, and his usually steady hands fidgeted nervously. "Good morning, James," I greeted him warmly, masking the fatigue that lingered from sleepless nights. "How can I help you?" He stepped inside, glancing around the room before settling his gaze on me. "I heard about what you and Agatha are up to. I just wanted to offer my assistance, if you need it." A surge of gratitude washed over me. "Thank you, James. Your help would be invaluable." He nodded, a determined glint in his eyes. "I've been working in the gardens for years, and I know every nook and cranny of this castle. If there are hidden passages or secret spots we need to explore, I can guide us." Together we pored over the map Mistress Agatha had provided, planning our next steps. The sanctuary beneath the eastern wing was just the beginning. Agatha hinted at other hidden areas within the castle that might hold further secrets about the Ravenswood lineage. The more we uncovered, the deeper the mystery became, entwining us all in a delicate dance of loyalty and danger. That afternoon, Agatha summoned me to her quarters for a private discussion. The door closed behind us and the room was filled with the comforting scent of jasmine from the vase on her table. She looked at me with a mixture of pride and worry. "Margaret, we are on the right path, but we must proceed with caution," she began, her voice steady. "There are those who would stop at nothing to keep our secrets hidden. I've received word that someone has been asking too many questions lately." My heart quickened. "Who do you think it is? Is it someone within the castle?" Agatha sighed, her eyes distant as if she were recalling a painful memory. "It could be one of the higher-ranking officials, someone with access to information they shouldn't have. We need to be vigilant and protect Lady Eleanor at all costs." Before I could respond, James entered the room, a determined expression on his face. "I've found something that might help us. There's a section of the old library that hasn't been touched in years. I think it could be another hiding place for important documents or artifacts." Agatha nodded thoughtfully. "Excellent work, James. Margaret, will you accompany him? We need to cover as much ground as possible." I agreed, feeling a mix of excitement and apprehension. The castle was vast, and each discovery seemed to pull us further into its enigmatic history. As we made our way to the old library, the atmosphere was thick with anticipation. Dust-covered bookshelves loomed overhead, and the air was heavy with the scent of aged paper and wood polish. James led us to a secluded corner of the library, where a large, ornate bookshelf stood silently. He began inspecting the shelves, his fingers tracing the spines of forgotten tomes. After several tense minutes, he found a book that seemed out of place, its cover slightly worn, yet marked with the same Ravenswood crest that adorned the key Agatha had given me. "This one looks different," James remarked, pulling the book from the shelf. "It wasn't here before, at least not in the same condition." I took the book from him, feeling the weight of its history in my hands. Carefully, I opened it to reveal a series of hand-drawn maps and cryptic annotations. The maps depicted various parts of the castle, some familiar, others entirely unknown. Scribbled notes hinted at hidden rooms, secret meetings, and long-forgotten alliances. As I studied the maps, a realization dawned on me. These were not just maps. They were the keys to unraveling the Ravenswood secrets. Each drawing seemed to correspond with locations we had yet to explore, suggesting that the castle held many more layers of mystery. Agatha examined the maps closely, her eyes narrowing in concentration. These could lead us to more information about Eleanor's heritage and the true extent of the Ravenswood legacy. We must follow these trails carefully. Just as we were beginning to piece together the implications, a loud crash echoed through the library, followed by the sound of hurried footsteps. We exchanged alarmed glances, our hearts racing as we realized we were not alone. "Hide!" James whispered urgently, pulling us toward a concealed alcove behind the bookshelf. We pressed ourselves against the cold stone, our breaths held tight as two men entered the room, their expressions hard and determined. "We need to secure those documents," one of them barked, moving towards the maps I had uncovered. "Ensure nothing of value is left behind." Agatha's voice was a mere breath, barely audible over the men's conversation. "Stay calm, Margaret. Let me handle this." Summoning every ounce of courage, Agatha stepped forward, her presence commanding. "Gentlemen, I believe you've made a grave mistake. Those documents are under my protection, and you have no authority to take them." The men turned, their eyes narrowing as they assessed her. "We're merely doing our duty, Protector," one replied, his tone icy. "The Ravenswood secrets must remain buried, and we're here to ensure that." A tense standoff ensued, the air thick with unspoken threats. Agatha stood her ground, her loyalty unwavering. "You won't find what you're looking for here. Leave now, before things escalate further." For a moment, it seemed as though the men might relent, but their leader took a step closer, his face hardening. "We can't let that happen. The truth must stay hidden, one way or another." Before the situation could spiral out of control, James made his move, distracting the men with a sudden burst of energy. "Margaret, Agatha, now's our chance!" Seizing the opportunity, we quickly retreated from our hiding place, clutching the maps and documents to our chests. The men gave chase, their footsteps echoing ominously behind us. We navigated the labyrinthine corridors of Castle Ravenswood, each turn a desperate bid for safety. As we reached the hidden passages beneath the eastern wing, the tension reached its peak. The narrow pathways twisted and turned, the darkness pressing in around us. We could hear the men closing in, their breaths heavy with frustration and determination. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, we burst into a secluded chamber, slamming the door shut behind us. The room was dimly lit by flickering candles, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Panting and exhausted, we leaned against the door, hearts pounding in unison. "That was too close," James gasped, wiping sweat from his brow. Agatha's expression was resolute, though a hint of worry lingered in her eyes. "We can't afford to let our guard down. They know we're searching for the truth, and they won't stop until they've silenced us." I glanced down at the maps and documents, realizing the depth of the conspiracy we were up against. The Ravenswood secrets were more extensive and perilous than I had ever imagined, entwining us all in a perilous game of cat and mouse. Can you imagine the intensity of our escape? Share your thoughts below. Stay tuned for the next chapter, as we delve deeper into the heart of Castle Ravenswood's mysteries. Don't miss it. Hit subscribe so you don't miss any part of the story. The secluded chamber where we had taken refuge was silent, save for the steady breathing of the three of us. The maps and documents we had salvaged lay scattered on the wooden table, their secrets still begging to be unraveled. The gravity of our situation pressed down on me, but amidst the fear and uncertainty, a spark of hope ignited within my heart. "We need to stay here until dawn," Agatha stated firmly, her eyes scanning the room for any signs of intrusion. "It's safer, and we can plan our next move in the light." James nodded in agreement, his usually robust demeanor tempered by the exhaustion of our narrow escape. I glanced at the documents, feeling the weight of our mission more keenly than ever. The Ravenswood legacy was not just a hidden truth. It was a beacon of hope for Eleanor and a threat to those who sought to maintain their clandestine control. As the first light of dawn began to seep through the cracks in the chamber, I felt a renewed sense of determination. We couldn't let fear dictate our actions any longer. Lady Eleanor deserved to know her true heritage, and it was our duty to ensure her safety and rightful place within the aristocracy. Agatha moved to the table, carefully organizing the documents. "These letters and maps indicate that there are more secrets to uncover. We must expose the conspiracy that threatens to dismantle everything the Ravenswoods have built." James leaned forward, his eyes meeting mine with unwavering resolve. "I've mapped out all the hidden passages and secret rooms mentioned in these documents. If we move quickly, we can gather all the evidence we need to bring the truth to light." A surge of adrenaline coursed through me. What's our next step? Agatha took a deep breath, her voice steady. "We need to confront those who are protecting these secrets. By exposing their actions, we can dismantle the conspiracy from within." As we strategized, a sense of camaraderie enveloped us. The challenges we faced had forged an unbreakable bond, united by our shared purpose and the desire to protect Eleanor. Despite the dangers, I felt a profound connection to Agatha and James, their loyalty inspiring me to press forward. Later that morning, we made our way back to the library, the sun now fully illuminating the grand halls of Castle Ravenswood. The once oppressive atmosphere felt lighter, as if the dawn itself was a symbol of the truth we were about to unveil. Navigating through the castle's intricate corridors, we approached the old library once more. This time, we were prepared. James led the way to the secluded corner where he had previously discovered the hidden book. Carefully, we retrieved the maps and began piecing together the intricate network of passages that lay beneath the castle. As we worked, the tension in the air was palpable. Each revelation brought us closer to the heart of the conspiracy, yet the threat of discovery loomed over us. It was during one such moment of focused determination that Agatha uncovered a final piece of the puzzle, a detailed plan outlining the conspiracy's reach and the key players involved. "These individuals hold significant power within the aristocracy," Agatha explained, her voice tinged with frustration. "They've manipulated events from the shadows, ensuring the Ravenswood secrets remain buried." James pointed to a name that stood out among the list of conspirators. "This is Lord Sebastian Blackwood. He's been a close advisor to the late Lord Ravenswood, and now holds considerable influence over the royal court." A chill ran down my spine. Lord Blackwood's name had come up in hushed whispers, a man whose ambition knew no bounds. Confronting him would be our greatest challenge yet, but it was a necessary step to secure Eleanor's future. Determined, we decided to gather all the evidence we had collected and present it to the appropriate authorities within the kingdom who could take action against Lord Blackwood and his cohorts. The path ahead was fraught with peril, but the truth was our guiding light. That afternoon, as we prepared to leave the library, the sound of footsteps echoed through the halls. Panic surged momentarily, but Agatha's calm demeanor quickly reassured us. "Stay focused. We have what we need." We moved swiftly, the maps and documents secured, navigating the castle with newfound confidence. The sun was beginning its descent, casting a golden hue over Castle Ravenswood as we made our way to the grand entrance. Just as we were about to exit, Lord Blackwood himself appeared, flanked by his loyal guards. His presence was commanding, his eyes cold and calculating as they assessed us. "Well, well," he drawled, a sinister smile playing on his lips. "It seems the nurse, the governess, and the gardener think they can challenge the established order." Agatha stepped forward, her voice unwavering. "Lord Blackwood, your actions have endangered not only the Ravenswood legacy, but the very fabric of our society. The truth will no longer remain hidden." Lord Blackwood laughed, a harsh, grating sound. "You underestimate the power of those who hold the strings. The Ravenswoods are nothing without the support of the Crown and its loyal subjects." Before he could advance further, James intervened, his voice firm. "Not anymore. The evidence you've tried to conceal will be brought to light, and those responsible will be held accountable." A tense standoff ensued, the air thick with unspoken threats and the weight of impending consequences. The guards flanked Lord Blackwood, but a flicker of uncertainty crossed his features as he realized the depth of our resolve. Agatha took a step closer, her eyes never leaving his. "You've had your chance, Lord Blackwood. Now face the consequences of your actions." For a moment, it seemed as though Blackwood might attempt to resist, but the determination in our eyes left no room for doubt. Realizing that his efforts to maintain control were futile, he gave a reluctant nod. "Very well, but know that this is far from over." As he and his guards retreated, a collective sigh of relief swept through us. The confrontation had been intense, but it marked the beginning of a new chapter for Castle Ravenswood and Lady Eleanor. In the weeks that followed, the evidence we presented led to Lord Blackwood's downfall and the exposure of the conspiracy that had threatened the aristocracy. Lady Eleanor's true heritage was acknowledged, and she was celebrated as the rightful heir, her position now secure and honored. The palace, once a place of hidden shadows and silent secrets, transformed into a beacon of transparency and justice. Agatha, James, and I found our roles within the castle redefined, our contributions recognized and valued. As for me, my journey from a private nurse to a guardian of truth had been one of growth and discovery. The bonds I had formed, the challenges we had overcome, and the truth we had unveiled left an indelible mark on my heart. One serene evening, as the sun set over Castle Ravenswood, I stood in the gardens with Lady Eleanor, Agatha, and James. The air was filled with the scent of blooming roses, and the gentle rustle of leaves provided a soothing backdrop to our quiet celebration. Lady Eleanor looked up at me, her eyes shining with gratitude and newfound confidence. "Thank you, Margaret. You've given me the gift of knowing who I truly am." I smiled, feeling a profound sense of fulfillment. "It was a team effort, Eleanor. We all played our parts in ensuring your legacy endures." Agatha placed a hand on my shoulder, her eyes reflecting a mix of pride and warmth. "You've been an invaluable part of this journey, Margaret. Your courage and determination have made all the difference." James chuckled softly, his rugged exterior softened by the joy of our success. And who knew a nurse could be such a formidable ally? We shared a laugh, the tension of the past weeks melting away in the warmth of our camaraderie. The palace, once a symbol of hidden power dynamics and secret conspiracies, now stood as a testament to resilience, loyalty, and the triumph of truth. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, I felt a sense of peace settle over me. The mysteries of Castle Ravenswood had been unraveled, the hidden truths brought to light, and a new era of honesty and integrity had dawned. What do you think happens next for Margaret and Lady Eleanor? Share your thoughts below. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Don't forget to subscribe so you can follow more of our stories in the future.